Okay, so let's dive straight into what everyone seems to be talking about right now. This really significant legal move involving Shawn Diddy Combs.
Yeah, the request for bail, right?
Ah,
Huge one.
exactly. A $50 million bond request to get him released from jail. I mean, it's a massive figure, and it's definitely making waves.
Absolutely.
So our mission here today for you is really to break this down. We want to give you the clearest possible picture.
Get into the specifics.
Right. We'll look at the details of this frankly astonishing bond request, unpack the arguments his legal team is putting forward, and they are pretty powerful arguments.
Audacious, even, some might say.
Yeah, and also look at how the judge has seen his incarceration before. We're digging into the recent court filings, the news reports, to really get to the heart of it all.
Okay, so maybe the best place to start is just clarifying where things stand legally right now.
Good idea.
So Shawn Diddy Combs, he was convicted. It was after an 8-week trial, federal prostitution-related offenses.
But not everything they charged him with, right?
Exactly. That's crucial. He was acquitted of the more serious charges, specifically the racketeering conspiracy and the sex trafficking charges. Big difference there.
Okay, so conviction on some counts, acquittal on others.
Correct. And his sentencing for the convictions, that's currently set for October 3rd.
October 3rd.
So this whole $50 million bond request,
Yeah.
it's not about an appeal or anything like that. It's purely about getting him released before that sentencing date.
Got it. So the convictions happen, sentencing is pending, and now the fight is about whether he stays in jail until then.
Precisely.
So, okay, let's unpack the defense's strategy here. What's his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, actually arguing to the judge? Why should he be released now?
Well, this new court filing, it lays out some very bold claims, several of them, actually.
Like what?
First off, he's targeting the conditions where Combs is being held. The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, Agnifilo calls them dangerous. Yeah, and says they pose an unnecessary confinement risk. Now, he does add that Combs has apparently been a model inmate for almost a year now.
So contrasting the alleged danger with his behavior inside.
Exactly. It's a way to frame the current situation as, disproportionate, maybe trying to build a case for leniency even before the actual sentencing.
Okay.
Second big point. They argue this incarceration itself is unusual. Agnifilo claims defendants convicted of similar prostitution-related offenses are typically released before sentencing.
Really? Is that standard?
Well, he's certainly pushing that angle hard. He goes so far as to say Combs should not be in jail for this conduct. He even suggests Combs might be, and I quote, the only person currently in a United States jail for being any sort of John.
Wow, that's a strong claim. The only person, he's really trying to paint this as an anomaly.
Definitely trying to isolate the case.
Yeah.
And he gets even more specific than that.
How so?
He claims Combs is, quote, certainly the only person in jail for hiring adult male escorts for him and his girlfriend when he did not even have sex with the escort himself.
Okay, so narrowing it down significantly, trying to minimize the perceived severity of the actual conviction.
Right. And that leads into the final major argument, an alleged double standard.
Ah, okay. What's the claim there?
Agnifilo basically says, look, everyone else involved in this identical conduct, and he lists girlfriends, the cowboys, agency leaders, porn stars, others, they walk free as they should.
Implying an unfair focus on Combs.
Precisely. That he's being singled out, perhaps because of who he is.
That's quite the argument, saying everyone else got off scot-free. But I wonder, is it really identical conduct? I mean, considering his public profile and the specific jury findings against him, it feels like a strategic way to suggest unfairness.
Oh, it's absolutely a strategic rhetorical move, highlighting what the defense sees as a completely disproportionate outcome. But, regardless of those arguments, the court always has two fundamental concerns with bail. Is the person a flight risk? And are they a danger to the community?
Right, the standard question. So how does Agnifilo tackle those, especially given Combs' resources and, well, his history?
Okay, so for flight risk, Agnifilo points to Combs' actions before things even got to this point. He emphasizes that Combs voluntarily came to New York to surrender before he was even arrested.
Okay, that's the point.
And he surrendered his passport to his lawyers. Not recently, but 6 months before the arrest.
6 months, wow.
Yeah. And another thing, apparently he paid off the mortgage on his Miami home before the arrest as well.
Why is that significant?
The filing says it was specifically to ensure he owned a home free and clear to secure any bail package.
Ah, planning ahead to show commitment.
That's the argument. That all these actions show he intended to face the music, not run away. Plus, the fact he was acquitted on those really serious racketeering and sex trafficking charges, that helps too. It reduces the incentive to flee, fewer potential years hanging over his head.
Makes sense. Okay, so that's flight risk. What about the other big one danger to the community?
On that front, Agnifilo is very direct. He states, Combs will not be violent to anyone, period.
Just a straight assertion.
Yeah, and he adds context from the trial, writing that the jury gave him his life back, and he will not squander his second chance at life. He really leans into the idea of rehabilitation, or at least future good conduct.
And what about the family angle? That often comes up.
It does here, too. Agnifilo stresses the impact on his children, saying Combs wouldn't do anything to further jeopardize his 7 children not having a father, and noting 4 of them wouldn't have any parent if he remained incarcerated or presumably fled.
Pulling in the heartstrings a bit there.
A bit, yeah. And finally, he just offers a blanket assurance. Combs will abide by any condition the court imposes to guarantee he won't be violent.
Okay, so it seems like they're really covering all the bases: prison conditions, legal precedent, family, personal assurances.
Throwing everything at the wall, basically.
Backing it up with more than just words. This proposed bail package is, well, extraordinary. Can you walk us through the actual conditions they're putting on the table?
It really is something. First, the headline number. A $50 million bond. Just a massive amount.
Secured by what?
Secured by his home in Miami. And not just that, it would have to be co-signed by 3 other people described as financially responsible.
So multiple people on the hook financially.
Exactly. Layers of accountability. Then there are the restrictions on his life, if released.
Right.
He will reside in his home in Miami. That's it. His travel would be extremely limited.
How limited?
Only the Southern District of Florida, where Miami is, and the Southern District of New York, presumably just for meetings with his lawyers. Plus the necessary airports to travel just between those 2 places.
Okay, pretty tight leash.
Very tight. His passport. Surrendered to pretrial services, that's PTS. And he shall not apply for any other passport. No wiggle room there.
And supervision.
Placed under the direct supervision of PTS, the U.S. Pretrial Services Agency. He'd have to report whenever they tell him to.
So significant oversight.
Definitely.
Woo!
But they even go further.
Really? What else?
The defense actually offered the court the option of imposing more extreme conditions if the judge feels it's necessary.
Like what kind of extreme conditions?
Things like home detention, basically house arrest. Private security, paid for by Combs himself, but approved by the court and PTS. Mental health treatment, substance abuse treatment, or even electronic surveillance, like an ankle monitor.
Wow. They're basically saying, name your price, name your condition, just let him out.
That's pretty much the message. Agnifilo argues that putting all these conditions in place would provide clear and convincing evidence that he does not pose a danger to the community.
That is an absolutely stunning level of commitment, both financially and in terms of personal freedom restriction that they're willing to accept.
It's certainly designed to impress the court with its severity.
But hang on, this isn't the first time they've asked for his release, is it? Has the judge considered this before, and what are the prosecutors saying?
You're right, this isn't the first attempt. Combs' team actually made a similar pitch for bail to Judge Subramanian after the conviction, but before they filed this specific $50 million package.
And what happened then?
The judge said no. He stated that the applicable law didn't allow for Combs' release at that time. Didn't elaborate much beyond that. Seems like a procedural denial, perhaps.
Okay. Any other times?
Yes, even earlier. Right after the jury read the verdict, Agnifilo immediately stood up and asked the court to release Combs right then and there on conditional bail, offering a $1 million bond.
And the judge?
Declined that one, too.
So the judge has already denied release twice since the conviction.
Correct. And the prosecution, specifically Prosecutor Maureen Comey, has consistently argued against release, saying he should stay in jail until the sentencing.
Did the judge give any reasons for the denials beyond the applicable law thing?
In those earlier instances, yes. The judge specifically pointed to Combs' violent history, something the defense themselves apparently conceded during the trial happened with Cassie and Jane.
Ah, so the past behavior is definitely on the judge's mind.
It seems to be a significant factor, creating this real tension between the defense's current arguments about cooperation and future conduct and the court's awareness of that history.
So this deep dive really shows us this complex dance, doesn't it? On one side, you have the defense with these incredibly detailed arguments, emphasizing cooperation, the specifics of the conviction, and this truly massive bond offer with extreme conditions.
Right, an unprecedented package almost.
Yes. And on the other side, you have the court's past caution, the judge's previous denials, citing that violent history, and the prosecution pushing hard to keep him locked up until October.
It sets up a really fascinating decision for the judge.
It really does. And it leaves you wondering, doesn't it?
Yeah, it raises a pretty important question, I think, especially in these high-profile cases.
Which is?
How does the legal system, how does a judge balance this? Balance a defendant's apparent willingness to accept truly extraordinary conditions, millions of dollars, house arrest, constant surveillance against those lingering concerns about public safety, about past behavior, even if that past behavior isn't directly what they were just convicted for. It's a tough balancing act.